Hello, and welcome back to Ant's Gaming Suite. This is your host Anthony, back with a new world video. Today's banned word is using the word here because I've been saying it too many times, and I know you guys hate it. But anyway, today's video we are going to be talking how do you level up your armoring skill. What are the things that I took differently that has helped me from the early games out into the late game. But before we jump straight into it, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like on the video, and also leave a comment section down below. What are your thoughts in terms of what is the best item to craft? What are you doing differently to me? That way the community below can also have a feel for it and, take action based on what is best for them. But before we jump straight into what is the best armor crafting item, for those who are new into the world of New World, there is one thing that I highly suggest you do as you are leveling from level 0 to 60. So every settlement that you obtain, you will have this project town board. If you simply go to it for every project that you are going to as you progress through your quest, there is a town board called armor smithing and a weapon smithing. So armor smithing and weapon smithing, they're pretty much an XP boosting to your questing level anyway, so it's best to do it regardless. However, when you do armor smithing, you will have to craft these armor crude set and weapon set, which you will have to nominate, and it will give you a lot of XP both in your armoring smith and weapon smith. So if you do that early on, you will have a lot of level that you can avoid. You don't have to spend a lot of resources, except that you've already done it at the early on in the game. By the time you reach level 100, you'll probably be level 60, and you've had a high level armoring skill into it. So that's my first tip if you're a beginner into New World. So I'm going to start out with explaining the things that you would craft in outfitting station, and then I'll progress to the Iron Forge at a later stage. So with the outfitting stage, there are two things that I would recommend you to create. First thing, from level 0 to 50, I would recommend you to create the linen shirt because it requires 22 linen, which you need 4 fibers to create 1 linen. You need a rug leather, or you can use coarse leather. Coarse leather, we only need 12, which you will need 4 raw hide, which is a tier 1, to create 1 leather, coarse leather. And then you will need 1 iron ingot, or 1 steel ingot, or whichever ingot you want to use. However, iron ingot is more abundant, so my advice is to stick with iron ingot. So it will net you 420 armoring, so you will be able to create this item from level 0 to 50 using the light armor mechanic. The other option, if you don't want to create linen shirt, just because it's using 22 linen and 12 coarse leather, is you can craft the linen hat. So the linen hat will be half the experience and half the material. You will only need 11 linen, and then you will need pretty much 6 coarse leather and 1 iron ingot. However, it will only net you 216 armoring. Those two, from level 0 to 52, I believe it will be you roughly need 60 in order to get level 0 to 50 with the linen hat. But if you go ahead and create the linen shirt, you only need about 25 or 30 or so in order to get level 0 to 50. From level 50 to 100, there is 2 recommendations that I recommend within this particular light armor and outfitting station, and that's going to be the same thing as well. So you either create sateen dress, which will cost you 22 sateen, which requires 4 linen, or to create 1 linen you need 4 fiber. You're going to need a coarse leather, and then you're going to use your iron ingot. It will net you 1050 armoring, though it would use a lot of resources to create sateen. Same with the factor of creating sateen glove, which is my other recommendation to getting from level 50 to 100. You only need 400 sateen, you need 4 coarse leather, and you need an iron ingot. Keep in mind that you're probably wondering, wait, why would you recommend sateen gloves when clearly the linen shirt will give you 420 armoring, but you require lesser of an ingredient to make or resource to rent. You only need 22 linen. You do have these 2 options, as I mentioned earlier. You either stick with creating the level tier 0, because 420 armoring experience with 22 linen is a fairly good amount to get you from level 0 to 100. But I'm just trying to give you guys option if you want to create something else. But my recommendation is to stick to linen shirt up until level 100 because it's more efficient at 420 armoring. So with the outfitting as well, so say once you've hit level 100, or 100 to 150, you will have to create either the silk gloves. So silk gloves here will cost you 4 silk, it will cost you 4 coarse leather, and it costs you an iron ingot. It will net you 675 armoring, and you can create roughly around 600, 700, and then you'll be able to reach from level 100 to 150. However, I have tried the option of creating silk dress in the meantime, which does cost a lot more. It costs 22 silk, pretty much 12 coarse leather, and an iron ingot. It does net you a lot more experience at 2,625, which just means that you're gonna be crafting a lot lesser, and you'll be leveling up a lot faster. Although the resource time consumption will take a lot longer, just because you need a tier 4 cloth. So my advice from getting level 100 to 150 is either you create silk dress if you can afford it, or you have the time and resource to gather the material up, or you stick to creating silk gloves, which require only 4 silk, 4 coarse leather, and 1 iron ingot. Or you can just simply stick to creating linen shirt, which give you 420 armoring. Although from level 100 to 150, you're gonna have to create a couple of thousand of them in order to level up to that stage. From level 150 to 200, my take on it is to create infused silk gloves. Just because at tier 5, you have to create silk, which you require 4 silk, 4 coarse leather, and 1 iron ingot. It will net you 1,395. Although I might just stick back to creating the old silk gloves or silk dress, just because it nets you a lot more. So I'm going to be bouncing between the two, just trying to experiment a lot more. But my take would be to create infused silk gloves, just because it's more efficient. It will save you a lot more resources. You can craft a lot more. However, if you do have the luxury of crafting something a little bit more, you can stick to making infused silk dress, which requires 22 silk or 12 coarse leather, 1 iron, and it will net you 5,425. So that's pretty much level 0 all the way up to level 200. I'm currently at 160, and these are the methods that I'm following at the moment. Then my personal recommendation is to really stick to creating light armor and medium armor, just because your resources will be a lot more than trying to create iron ingots or steel ingots. So if you look at the lumen at the moment, we can see that you require 4 leathers to create 1 linen, you require 4 linens to create 1 sateen, and then you're gonna need a silk weave here, and then you have your silk, 2 sateen, and then you're gonna need silk thread plus a cloth weave or whichever weave you have, and then same with the infused, you're gonna need 8 fiber and then the silk weave. So that is my recommendation into sticking into light armor and medium armor. But if you don't have, if you already have the materials for creating iron, these are my take as well. So I'll quickly show you guys what you would craft if you were to use forge. So if you were to use the forge, my personal take would be to create iron plate greaves. You need 10 iron ingots, 6 coarse leather, and then you're gonna need a linen. So pretty much 2 linen. So it's pretty much swapped around. Instead of using a lot more cloth, you're using a lot more smelting ingots. This will craft you 216 armoring. So you can pretty much do this from level 0 to 100. Pretty standard. But if you want to step it up from level 100 to 150, my advice is for you to go ahead and craft, steel plate helmet. It will net you 540 armoring. You only need 8 steel ingots, 6 pretty much coarse leather, and then cloth is 4 linen. It will net you 540 armoring. And then from level 100, I'll say from level 150 to 200, you don't have to go and stick to the route of creating a bunch of steel plate helm. You can pretty much go ahead and look at creating a tier higher. You can look at star plate, breastplate. However, keep in mind that they're going to be using a lot of star metal ingots, and they do take a lot of time to farm. But the other alternative is to create a bunch of either iron plate greaves, or you can just stick to creating steel plate helmets from level 0 to 200 if you are resource deficient. But anyway, the reason why I'm not saying too much into Iron Forge is because I've only created steel plate for a couple of levels, and I didn't quite like it. This is my personal take. I preferred to create a lot of linen or light armor, medium armor. But anyway, I hope this guide helps you out. Kind of explains in terms of what I'm creating, what I think is best for leveling up your armoring skill. Let me leave a comment section down below. What are your thoughts and what are your takes? And I'll catch you guys in the next video. bye.